Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's dive straight in to today's first story, you absolute cheeky so-and-so. Much love guys. And today's first story comes from Toast W Jelly 657 who asks, am I the arsehole for baking my niece a cake for her first birthday? I see a story about cake and I gotta get involved. Yesterday was my niece's first birthday, and originally the plan for the cake was for my father-in-law to buy a store-bought cake. When my father-in-law mentioned he was buying a store-bought cake for the party, I asked if I could bake the birthday cake and smash cake instead. My father-in-law was thrilled at the idea and requested that it be a surprise to my sister and brother-in-law. I saw no issue and agreed. Over the past week, I've spent countless hours on this cake. Going in, I had very high expectations for the cake, and although I did not meet those high expectations, I'm still happy with the cake and 100% believe it is better than a store-bought cake. Yesterday, at the party, when it was time to bring out the cake, my father-in-law took the cake out of his hiding spot and brought it into the main area of the party. When my brother-in-law saw the cake, he had a big smile and seemed really happy. However, my sister-in-law saw the cake and she looked mortified. Quickly, my sister-in-law threw on a fake smile and asked my father-in-law about the cake. Probably my father-in-law announced that I was the one who made the cake. My sister-in-law gritted her teeth the entire time. We sang happy birthday and refused to even try the cake for the whole party. After I left, I was bombarded with messages from my sister-in-law and brother-in-law. The messages were everything from I intentionally sabotaged her daughter's first birthday party. Because of me, all the photos of her daughter's first birthday are ruined by the stain of my trashy cake. I didn't know what to say, so I just screenshot all the texts and sent them to my husband, who is currently overseas for the military. After I did that, everything has just blown up. It feels like brother against brother, and like my parents-in-law are just trying to play both sides. Every Saturday, we usually do a family day. Usually, we all eat a bunch of good food and do some kind of activity together. But this morning, my father-in-law asked me to sit out of this week's family day out, and I'm crushed. Honestly, I was just trying to be nice and make my niece's birthday even more memorable. I was not trying to take the day away from her, but it feels like everyone's against me, and I think I might be an ass. And Opie says my profile picture is the cake and the theme of the party was cowboys and Texas. That's why there is the Texas Longhorn and Sheriff's badge. And that's an absolutely amazing looking cake, and I'm struggling to see what the problem is going on. Obviously there's something going on in the background here that we don't know about. But to me that cake looks absolutely amazing and I would love to see that too. I've seen some cakes in the past, like for my nieces and nephews, and tried to make a couple before, and they never come out to the standard that I want them to. It's so much harder than it looks. But there was some questions and comments from people down in the comment section below, which said, was father-in-law asked to just pick up a specific cake from a specific store, or was he just in charge of the cake in general? OP replied saying, he was meant to pick up a cheap grocery store cake as per my sister-in-law. The next commenter says they had their plans in place with having your father-in-law buy it from the store. Maybe it was specifically to their liking, the looks, the theme, the taste, etc. Who knows? Opie said there was no specific store or cake in mind. That's why we thought it would be okay. She told my father-in-law that she didn't even care what flavor he got. The next commenter says, not the arsehole. When I clicked on your profile, my jaw dropped. That cake was amazing. Your sister-in-law and brother-in-law should be extremely grateful. It's clear you put a lot of time and effort into that cake. Opie said, I actually had to remake the cake last minute because I didn't know how it was originally turning out. I've been trying to get better at my cake decorating skills and it's by no means my best work, but I really gave it my all. The next commenter says, what exactly was it about the cake your sister-in-law hated? I mean, to not even eat a piece. Opie says, they won't give me any specific reason. I've asked and my father-in-law has asked, but sister-in-law simply just says it's not what she wanted and that it looks trashy and cheap. The next commenter says, not the arsehole. That's easily a $150 cake and looks adorable and professional. What on earth could sister-in-law have a problem with? So much better than anything their $50 could have bought at a store. OP says there's over $200 worth of ingredients alone. Someone says how? OP says butter is expensive and the main ingredient is frosting. Cakes are a lot more expensive to make than people think. On top of it, I'm not a professional bakery, so I don't have access to bulk prices. And I totally understand how those prices can get totally crazy out of hand. I went with family members recently, young family members who wanted to make some Halloween style cakes and little blocks of ready to roll icing. I know you can make it yourself, but easy. So I was going for the orange and black ones. They're like £5 each or $5.81 for the US. So if you want multiple colors or different designs on different cupcakes, it gets just crazy prices just for some cupcakes, But sometimes it's just got to be done, right? And yeah, all I'm thinking on this story is, what is the reason? What's up with sister-in-law? What has she got against you that she was gritting her teeth and wouldn't even try a piece of this cake? Because the cake itself looks absolutely amazing. So OP went on to update the post, which says, right before I was about to leave my mother and father-in-law's house, I got a phone call from my husband. Husband was extremely upset and asked me if I had left for his parents yet. I said no. He told me he needed to make me aware of the situation. A few hours before his father called him and shared with him screenshots of a dating app profile containing my name and photos. Before I could say anything, my husband reassured me he knew it was fake. A few things that tipped him off. 1. Screenshots from the profile said less than a mile away when referring to the distance of the user. 2. It was my sister-in-law who found the account. My straight, female, and married sister-in-law just randomly decided to go on Bumble and somehow fell upon my profile even though we live over 100 miles apart. When I got to mother and father-in-law's house, father-in-law rushed out to talk to me. He told me I had every right to be upset but asked me to be the bigger person and not cause any more unnecessary drama. When I got to sister-in-law, initially she denied everything, but after about 2 minutes she couldn't keep her story straight. Instead of apologizing, she just started bawling her eyes out. She blamed the whole thing on pregnancy hormones and tried to play it off as a joke. My mother and father-in-law both pulled me outside to try to get me to calm down. I asked them why they were taking her side. They told me there were no sides and they were just trying to keep the peace. After they said that, I lost it and told them keeping the peace is just an excuse used by enablers. I told them that they had a very important decision to make. If they choose to stand by sister-in-law, they will lose me as a consequence. They told me they were afraid to lose their grandchild, and I responded with, you're going to lose a set of grandchildren. Either way, it's going to be the ones in front of you now or the future grandchildren me and husband will have. My husband and I are on the same page, and we both agreed to cut contact with his family unless some kind of consequence for sister-in-law happens. Edit. Background info: husband is currently 12 months into an 18-month deployment for the military. Edit 2. I feel like I need to clarify the family relations. I'm not biologically related to anyone in this post. I am married to my husband, who is biologically related to his brother. Brother-in-law is married to sister-in-law, father-in-law and mother-in-law have 2 biological sons and 2 daughter-in-laws, myself and sister-in-law. Then people ask some more questions to OP, which says info. My question is, what kind of punishment do you want? She's an adult and not their child. Also, was she trying to frame you? OP says my brother and sister-in-law live with mother and father-in-law due to poor financial decisions. They're quite literally living under their roof. OP goes on to say, I want what's best for him and I don't want him to lose contact with his family, but I'm scared about what we are saying about our boundaries if there are not serious consequences. I understand that it is hard to punish grown adults and maybe consequence/punishment is the wrong word. I want the behavior to stop. And I genuinely don't believe my mother and father-in-law are going to set up those boundaries or help enforce mine and my husband's boundaries. Someone asks, what is your brother-in-law saying about his wife's actions? OP says he's overly protective of her and sees no wrong in her. He thinks me and my husband are severely overreacting and is actually upset at me for raising my voice at his pregnant wife. He sent a very long, angry text message to my husband. To quote part of his text directly, it was just a fucking joke. My name had no fucking right to talk to my wife like that. She should count herself fucking lucky I wasn't there. Someone says, not the arsehole. Is your brother-in-law sure that's his baby? OP said, I've had the same thought and it's definitely brother-in-law's baby. Baby has the exact same eyes as father-in-law and baby looks exactly like brother-in-law when he was a baby. Someone says something doesn't add up. In your post and in other comments, you say sister-in-law is pregnant, but in this comment, everyone already knows what the baby looks like. OP responds, she has 2 children, a baby who is 1 year old and she's currently pregnant. Someone says, what I don't understand is the 18-month deployment your husband is on. I don't know of anything longer than 9 months these days. OP says he's special forces. He goes on an 18-month appointment every 3 years. So the brother turns around and says it's all a joke. So creating a dating profile and sending it to all the family, that was the joke apparently. Holy shit. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from the Entitled People subreddit from EWSK97480, who says, entitled brother sells my stuff and my parents defend him, so I sue him. And OP says at first that, sorry if my English is not correct, I am French. I'm 23 years old and I'm a very reserved person. I don't like to interact with other people, but I don't hate anyone. I've never been angry with a person because I assume that if you don't interfere with my life, everything is fine. I have, however, always been very close to my 17-year-old brother, even though he is very different from me, athletic, sociable, etc., and we always shared our stuff since birth. Recently, he has started to become the little boss of the house, with his parents buying him everything he wants despite his catastrophic grades. He smokes, he drinks, and starts to force me to be mainly a cab driver. This puts a very bad atmosphere in the house, with my mother yelling at him a lot. Fortunately, I bought my dream computer with a lot of work, more than $5,000, and every night I lock myself in my room and coding all night long, or playing video games. It's my little bit of quiet time between my very tiring engineering duties and the atmosphere at home. Then comes my 6-month internship in a big city in another country. And at the beginning, I love it very badly because I never left my small city. It was very difficult to live alone in an apartment, but after a few weeks, I really changed, which surprised me. I enjoy going out with people. I feel more confident, and I even changed my clothing style to be more adult, and I love it. A bonus is that I've started working out since I don't have my computer in my spare time. At the end of my internship, I go back home and I find the same atmosphere as before, and nobody notices my change of appearance. I ignore this, and when I arrive at night, I only want to find my computer to avoid the screams, but when I go back to my room, it is not there anymore. So I ask my mother and she tells me that my brother sold it. I think at that point my brain just paused, and it was 10 seconds before I asked my mum if this was a joke. She says no, and I start to see red. I teleport to my brother's room and ask him why. He answers that it was to buy sneakers and clothes, and I ask him again, explaining this time that I want to know why he sold my computer because I didn't give him the right to do it and that I always use it for work. He laughs and tells me that I can buy another one and that $1,000 is nothing for me. When he tells me he's sold it for $1,000, it's worth $5,000. Normally, I would have run away to my room to swear, but here I get angry and grab his laptop before destroying it on the floor. The noise brings back my parents and my brother yells at me, asking me what has happened to me. I yell and explain that he had no right and that he's an ingrate and that I had worked hard for it, that it was mine. My father angrily tells me to keep my voice down and says that it's just a computer. I told him with all my anger to shut up and that he should realize that it is not normal to steal people's things. I leave angry because even my parents do not support me. I go to the police to file a complaint, as the value of the goods exceeds $1,000, proven by the purchase order. My brother risks prison because he is now 18 years old. My parents put pressure on me to drop the lawsuit against my brother, but I don't want to be with them anymore, since they consider me a little less than nothing. But I am not afraid, and I went to the end of the procedure, and my brother must give me back $5,000+ and pay back my lawyer. He should have to do public works to pay back his debt, but parents paid for him. My whole family hates me more or less now, and I cut off all ties with everyone. I'm now living with a cousin, and I'm about to graduate, so I will soon have a job. I'm in a hurry to leave and not see my family again, which doesn't bother me because of the way they considered me, and I don't think I was wrong, and that my actions allowed my brother to question himself of the importance of work. My mother wanted to talk to me the other day, but I just told her that if she wants to be happy, she should leave my dad, I assume, and I will be there for her. Hope she will make the good decision. And I love it when multilingual people come onto these subreddits and they say, oh, sorry for my English kind of thing. And it's like, wow, yeah, your English is probably better than mine. I can't help but feel how awful this must feel for OP, that their family, that the brother, the parents are the parents enabling this behavior and the brother doing that in the first place. It must be absolutely awful. But at the same time, and again, I don't mean this in a patronizing way at all, but I am proud for OP for the way that they've dealt with it. And I wish them the best future that they can, because they don't need this kind of shit in their life, do they? But at the same time, as I always say, I know it's very easy for me to say this on the outside who's not dealing with this, with family members like this, people that you should be able to trust and love, and you get this kind of shit thrown at you. Absolutely awful. But what do you guys make of this one? What would you advise to OP? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from Rosie Sparkles, who says, am I the arsehole for telling my boyfriend he can't spend Christmas with me and the kids? My 34 female partner, 49 male, absolutely hates Christmas and has ruined it for the past 4 Christmases by being mean. Whether it's moaning about hating the festivities or saying it's pointless because his family isn't there, mum passed away 25 years ago, father 8 years ago, it actually boils down to a very depressing case of money. I'm poor, brought up poor, not fussed because money really doesn't buy happiness. I have 3 teens and 1 2-year-old surprise baby with partner. I live with my children in my own home and work hard, pay bills, etc. and I expect nothing by the way of financial help. I especially know not to ask from partner because it always comes with additional cost, be it interest or hours to work at his. He, on the other hand, has retired early and has made his pile, which is very commendable. However, this makes him particularly mean. He won't use electric at his despite owning and earning from a wind generator. He rarely buys food and instead eats ours. He uses my car and van and doesn't refuel, let alone chip in towards tax, MOT, repairs, servicing. He expects me to pay for everything, and so far I have, with minimal complaint because I'm always worried about being a financial burden, or not being worth the expense. I'm working on these issues and I know he uses them to his advantage. Now though, Christmas is approaching. This Christmas is my last with my children, all together for a while. The 2 eldest have applied to university and both are likely to get in. The eldest says she'll probably stay at uni for Christmas holidays. The second munchkin says they're considering the same. My boy might want to spend the next one with my ex-husband, and so Christmas 2023 might be very different indeed. This is why it's so important this year. For us, Christmas is spending the day together, eating the best food we've had all year. Homegrown mostly, homemade everything. Usually digging out the old PS console, the Wii, and generally having a good laugh in front of the fire. It's about family and love. My partner is about how much he had to spend on stuff he personally doesn't get the benefit from. So I formally invited him this year. I told him that if there was any moaning about money, or how much he hates the hypocrisy of it all, or grumbling about waste, other people's, not ours, we waste nothing, he wouldn't be allowed to come. Am I the arsehole? Or is it justified? But we'll start off with Lena, who says not the arsehole. Also, if you pour a little bit of salt on the back of a leech, they pop right off. Just saying. Stop Now says, stop calling this man your partner. This is not a partner. Nothing about this is a partner. Get child support. Just because he retired doesn't mean he should have. He obviously shouldn't have if he is this frugal. The 2-year-old is his and he still treats you like this. Not the arsehole, but you are kinder if you don't end it and expose your children to this person more. Active says, what in God's name does he bring to your relationship? I can't see any reason to be with a mean, grumpy miser unless I was into self-hatred. You have 5 children voluntarily. You are giving everything and receiving nothing. You're a doormat. Not the arsehole, but you are about staying with this nothing man. And one more from particular Elk, who says, I can't be the first or only one to say this to you. For an Xmas present to yourself, get rid of this man entirely. You deserve a partner in life, not a mooch. A cranky, useless mooch. Your life is about to change quite a bit once those two kids are gone to university, and that empty space will be filled by his whining and complaining, and good lord, do you ever deserve someone better? And dang it, make him pay child support. The little one deserves it. You would be the arsehole if you invited him to the last all-together Christmas, as he's already shown his lack of empathy or compassion. It's all about him. Change that and make it all about you and your family. Now, what would you do in this situation? A lot of the comments were just saying, you're the arsehole if you do continue to stay with this guy. But what are your thoughts? Maybe you have a different opinion on the matter. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, support, and time always means the absolute world to me. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today